Hi guys, Jeff here, STLP Program Manager, wanting to start out by giving you a quick thank you for helping us score our Level 2 projects. Now remember, Level 2, these are the projects that we kicked off with an elevator pitch back in the Level 1 all digital regionals, and they have advanced now into our 2021 STLP State Championship. And they're hoping to get a score of at least 91 so that they can be considered by you for the designation of Best in Group Project. Our Best in Group projects move on to Level 3 for some final judging, and among the Best in Group projects, we will select our 2021 State Project Champions. So let's get into a little bit of training. Here is, you've already accessed this page because you've opened the email and you are already jumping into step 1 because you were watching the training video. I do want to take a moment to point out this right here. Our Level 2 judging page is actually hidden from the public. It's not public access. It is just a direct URL that I've sent to you. So please don't share that URL so that we may work to keep unauthorized access to the scoring forms at a minimum, so that we can just focus on the folks that are actually our Level 2 judges. So again, you've already hit step 1 because you're watching this video. Step 2 will give you access to review our Rubric scoring guide for Level 2. We're going to reference that in just a moment. Step 3 will allow you to open the project presentations, and then 4, 5, and 6 will be recording the scores for the projects that you have been assigned. So let's look at this rubric really quickly. We'll start at the top. Notice that most of the scoring categories here directly relate to the Kentucky Academic Standards for Technology, which were published and will go live as a requirement for all students in Kentucky K through 12 starting next academic year. So one more way that STLP combines perfectly with your whole school into your classroom. We'll start at the top here with digital citizenship. You notice it's a 0 or 10 score. 0 or 10, basically, have they used all original materials and content, music, backgrounds, images, or have they borrowed from someone? And if they have borrowed from someone, have they demonstrated that they had permission to do that? Very simple. Global collaboration, a score of 1 to 10. Who have they worked with to help strengthen their project? Creative communication. How did they share their project and use communication tools to let the world know of what they're doing? Innovative design. What technologies did they utilize to design and create the work that you're looking at today? Did they prototype? Can they take you through the prototypes that they used? That's a score of 1 to 10. Computational thinking. How did they identify and utilize the data and sequences they needed to move from their project from elevator pitch at Level 1 on to where they're at today with Level 2. Knowledge construction, another score of 1 to 10. How have they built their knowledge, and can they demonstrate and talk about how or present on how they have grown from Level 1 to Level 2? Project impact. This is really about how have they measured if their project has been impactful. Important to note here that we don't have any expectation that projects are, quote, complete at this stage. We know that this year has been very challenging for schools to have opportunities to meet and project teams to work together, and there's been a lot of obstacles to overcome. So we are scoring their project presentations based on what they have given us today, not on how complete it is, which is kind of challenging. So as a result, because of those challenges, we're only going to weigh this as a score of 1 to 5. Technology implementation. This is the Student Technology Leadership Program. So is this a technology-rich project? That's important for us. Under the category of empowered learning. Presentation. Did they address the various aspects of this rubric? And then, of course, STLP logo. It's a simple 0 or 5. Have they proudly displayed the STLP logo within their project? So what you'll see there is we have a total possible score of 100 points. And we're going to talk about how to select your best in group in just one moment. So let's jump back over to the page. We have just completed step 2. Now let's look at step 3. Clicking on the link in step 3 will open up the Google Doc, which gives you access to, they are listed by project number. You'll know that when you reference back in your email that you have been given a list of the projects, and I think I have that right here for you. You have been given a list of the projects that you are to score. Here's a sample. So I would just find the corresponding projects on the spreadsheet, and those would be the ones that I look at. Only those. No one has any more than 8 projects assigned to them. So you'll find your project number. Of course, you'll hit the URL, which will take you out to their project. And for reference, you may look at the project description. Now, if you reach out to try and open a URL and it does not open or it does not have permissions for you, I encourage you to please jump over right here to the column that has the coach's contact and email that STLP coach to ask them for updated permission so that you can give that project a chance. Step 4, again, we'll reference the email that you had previously received, because that's going to tell you which judge group you're in, and it's going to tell you which projects you're responsible for. Now let's look at step 5, which is sort of learning the process for selecting your best in one group. So as we mentioned before, you have best possible score is 100. A minimum score of 91 on a project means that they are eligible to be considered for best in level 2 group. You can only select one best in level 2 group, and you'll indicate that on your scoring form. I know it's going to be tough. There's going to be 2, and you might have multiple that score 91 and above. But this is really where, once they've hit that threshold of 91 points minimum, this is following your instincts as an STLP coach to choose the one that you believe is the best in the group of the 8 that you review. Last but not least, you'll submit your scores and comments on a Google form, and we have individual Google forms set up for each judging group. So it's important that you remember, if you're judge group A, you look for the form for judge group A. You'll notice that if you scroll down, access to those judge group forms are below. Be sure to select the correct form, because once you get in there, we've got it customized for all the groups in all the projects in your judging group. And if you're in the wrong group, the wrong form, that's going to kind of be confusing for you. So jump back out and make sure you're in the right form. There are a few last minute things to include here. Of course, we do have a quick deadline. We're asking to have all of the project scores in by Wednesday at 10 a.m., April 21st. I know that's a quick time. But if you compare this to being in person for a state championship where we do all this in 2 hours, having almost 3 days to do it is probably going to help out a little bit, where that's our goal. Now, if you run into a URL doesn't work, we mentioned that, please reach out to the STLP coach. What if I'm assigned to judge one of my own project? We've tried really hard to randomize the grouping to make sure that also that we don't have the same school in one group, so we can kind of spread out the opportunities for schools to move on to level 3. But with that result, it is possible that somehow we've overlooked and you have been assigned to a judging group that includes one of your own STLP projects. You will simply skip scoring that, and you'll notice in the judge scoring form, there's a spot to select, this is my school, and you skip ahead to the end, and you don't have to submit any scores for that project. But it's okay, because there are multiple judges scoring each project, so your school will have just the same chance of reaching level 3, even if you don't submit a score. And then, of course, if you need help, reach out to me, Jeff Sobalski at education.ky.gov. I'll be watching my inbox closely to respond as quickly as possible to any questions you might have. All in all, thank you for taking the time to judge. Look forward to seeing your scores no later than 10 a.m. on Wednesday, April 21st. Thanks.